The Amish are a forgotten about culture. The only reason why you hear about them is either you're in class or you're watching National Geographic or something and it has a segment about the Amish on that day. So, my name is Darion Johnson. I'm here to talk to you about the Amish and the history and how it became the culture it is today. The Amish culture was created in the 1600s by Jacob Allman. When we think about the Amish, we don't think about our next door neighbor or our friend down the street. We think about somebody in a tucked in white shirt, jeans, and overalls with a little hat on, funny hat on their head. We don't think about someone that just looks like me or you. So this leaves us with a lot of questions. Who are they? Where do they live? Most of the time, nobody takes the time to educate you on those points. So I'm going to take you back into the history of the Amish before they were known as the Amish. The Amish can trace their origin back to the Protestant Reformation of Europe, where there was an emphasis on returning to the purity of the New Testament church. So, when the New Testament, when the Protestant Reformation in Europe disbanded, it disbanded not because it was just fell apart. It disbanded because a group decided to leave because they felt that one of the practices that the church was using wasn't right, and that was the baptism of infants. So they'll only be a couple months old and they would decide to baptism, and that's not what they felt was right. So they broke off and they became known as the Anabaptists. The Anabaptists was largely in the 1500s, and they emerged in Switzerland and later on in Germany, France, Holland, other regions in Europe. The Anabaptists were a group in many ways was just like the Protestant Reformation. But the biggest difference of them all was the fact that they didn't baptize babies. They actually waited till you're adult. So they raised you inside the church, taught you the ways, you lived the life, and then once you're adult, they believe that the only way to become a member of the church as an adult is to be baptized, one, and the only way to be doing that is you have to have a public confession of your sin and your faith sealed by the baptism. That's how you get to the baptism portion. So from that group, Jacob Allman, who's one of the top priests in the church, he had one of the biggest congregations. He thought that the Anabaptists wasn't strict enough. He thought that they needed to be more strict about the way that they came across, the way that they put in the rules of the religion. In 1963, he decided to break off from the Anabaptists. And so him and his followers left the church, and they became known as the Amish due to his last name. So in America, we didn't get the Amish until the 1700s. So we're gonna stay back into the Europe days and learn about that. The Amish were basically the same. They went back to they almost went back directly to the Protestant Reformation in Europe. They started baptizing infants again, but Jacob took it a step further. Jacob, if you misbehave, if you did any of that, you got shunned. Now, if you're thinking about nowadays when we say shunned, we think about you can't talk to anybody, you're never coming back, you might as well just leave. Well, this isn't the way that Jacob did his shunning. Jacob believed that once you messed up, yes, you get shunned from the population. Nobody talks to you, but there's also a way to come back from that. He believed that if you took the time to, and the effort to come out and say what your sins were and confess that to everybody, and then go ahead and get baptized again, that you were allowed back inside the church. So it wasn't just the average, okay, you're banished type. So he was very fair in that. Now, he did put in more strict rules than any other church. That was one of his downfalls. The Amish did come into America, and the first wave was in the 1700s, and they ended up the earliest settlement was in Lancaster County, which is in Pennsylvania. The Amish are that is now their biggest settlement in the country. The biggest settlement in the country is in Lancaster County still, and now, oh my God, now the Amish aren't just a group of people that are living on farmland and don't have any modern technology. Actually, in today's world, a lot of the settlements, a lot of the churches allow newer technology, not brand new technology, but newer technology. They have cars, they just have strict guidelines on what the car can look like, what is all in the car, that type of thing. You have to have some of the churches, you have to have blackout cars, no wording or anything like that on it. A lot of churches still don't allow telephones and that type of stuff. It's still the plain back in the day dress up a lot of times. But all in all, the Amish are very proud and very old and proud history. Their culture is very much rooted in their religious beliefs. Everything from the way they dress in very simple, moderate clothing to the way they farm all their own food. The way that they really don't live with as much technology, even though they do have some now. The way that is part of the Amish culture. The Amish are a very tight-knit community, so they don't hide secrets from each other like we do. They share everything. They're close. They know everything about each other. And the Amish are just a great community, all in all, and we should honestly learn more about them. We shouldn't just have a week discussion about the Amish. We need to learn more about them to advertise what community should look like and what family should look like, because we should all try to be more like the Amish in their community and family standpoints.